Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Welcome to New Life Live. We are very glad that you are with us, and I'm very glad to be here with Becky Brown. Hey, Becky.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Jill.
Are you good today?
I am very good. I'm very good. Waiting to answer some calls. It'll be great.
Oh, that's awesome. And Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Yes. Hello.
How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing good.
I got a question.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
Okay. Well, what is on my mind is lament and long suffering.
Oh, okay.
So it may not be summertime when you're hearing this, but this summer is a good time for the Psalms. So you guys are getting a lot from Psalms from me this summer. So I heard it said that the greatest pain in life is our own. Right? So whatever we are suffering.
That's some truth right there.
Isn't that
that's
so
some truth.
true?
Yep.
Because people try to do this hierarchy of pain. Well, this person, my pain isn't as bad as someone else's. No, the greatest pain is ours and what we are suffering with. And so what do we do with our lament, which is also grief, right? And when it's over time, it's long suffering.
Yeah.
And it can feel really bad. Right? And we can feel forgotten by God. Where is he in this? And I think the psalmist reflects that. A lot of the Psalms. In fact, 1/3 of the Psalms are about lament, which is interesting. So some obvious things here first would be the first thing we need to do is to claim our identity in Christ and in the body of Christ. So we need to remind ourselves, kind of ground ourselves in that, right? That even though it may feel like, gosh, God, where are you? Right? We are his child.
Yeah.
And that's important to hold on to. And as his child, right? And as Christians, we meditate on his word. So our tendency sometimes when we suffer, we push people away, we push God away.
Yeah.
And so we want to lean in and we want to go to his word and let it just kind of run over us, right? That's why the Psalms are so great. We have to remember that Jesus is the greatest of empathizers.
Oh,
right?
That's really good. Yeah.
He is there with us in it. And it doesn't, just because we're suffering, it doesn't mean we're on God's, plan B, right? He uses our suffering. He doesn't just leave us there in it. So part of that is we need to invest in our community, our Christian community, right? We need to do the investment work so that when the long suffering hits, we have people to go to. And that then when it does hit, we seek prayer from others, right? We lean into others during this. We also need to really share our pain with God and with others. So we need to just cry out to him and specifically ask for comfort, right? And that can come in all kinds of forms, right? We share also with trusted others. And this is where community comes in. And then when it's long suffering, we also seek people, places, groups, and things that are maybe more specific to our need.
Yeah.
People that can actually sit in the pain and understand long suffering. Sometimes we go to the most popular person at church who's really, really busy.
Yeah.
That's not the person who's going to sit with us in our long suffering.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need to be aware of that. And then in the end, we need to hold on to hope. And most all of the Psalms that are of lament in hope. And when we can't hold on to hope, we need to ask others to hold that hope for us.
Oh, that's
and remind us.
So good, Jill. It's such a great reminder. And the other thing I love about the Psalms is that when I don't have words, it gives me the words for me.
It
and
does.
allows it to express it. So thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, thank you for being with us. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all, yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us, and we're also glad that Chandra is with us, listening in Dallas, Texas on our app. Thanks for calling in to the program, Chandra. How can we help you?
Absolutely. I really appreciate y'all. I have a question in regards to my mother. She's going to be 76 next month, and over the past 3 years, I've been I've been there for her. My dad passed away 3 years ago, and I never realized how much of a buffer he was between my mother and myself, because I was really close to my dad and talked to him all the time. Well, anyway, he died, and I moved my mother up near me, and I have found that she has a very negative and toxic personality, and I can understand why she's burned so many bridges over the years. So we never really had a relationship, but this is bringing her up near me. I had a brother in Houston that didn't really want much to do with her, and I was concerned about her, so I brought her up near me. And now it's kind of like I'm getting it.
Yeah, you're in the way
hard.
of all of her negativity.
Yes, I'm the one that would get the blame for a lot of the things that happened over the last 3 years, and I've tried to be really strong with this, and I have sought counseling, and the counselor told me to set boundaries, which, I speak up, whenever she's done something or said something that's really cruel. But we're just completely different people, living for completely different reasons. I honestly think she's given up since my dad died, but she's always had this personality. So
and I was going to ask you about that, Chandra, in the transition here. What kind of support besides you does she have as far as socialization, her physical abilities? Because while she may have some of these rough edges, that your dad was the buffer between the two, it's also a challenge when you're 76 and you're relocating. And, what does that look like for her?
Well, I brought her into a community of senior living, and it's independent living, which, she's still able to do. And the thought was that she would be around other seniors. And she is, but she spends most of the time in her apartment on her phone.
Right.
She tells me she's a lone wolf. She's always been a lone wolf. And I say, well, you're here with all these great people. They have so many functions going on, and she misses out on a lot of those things.
Right. The hard part, Chandra, the hard part about that is those aren't her people. And that's
They're
the
just
challenge.
People. And who is she on the phone with? Like you said, she's burned a lot of bridges, but does she have friends from where she used to live that she calls?
No. I mean, they have a mutual friend that was my dad's friend in high school, and so she's got two men that were really close to my dad that, she became friends with too over the years, of course. But there's really no one else. Facebook happens to be her friend. So
so she's just on her phone scrolling. She's not actually talking to people.
Correct. Yes.
Well, and so Chandra, what kind of support do you have in this process too? Like, who's there for you?
Well, I do have friends in my church that I speak to, that I vent to. My husband, I vent to as well. I have a brother in Houston, of course, that wants nothing to do. He's estranged himself from us. I have a brother in North Carolina, and we talk, but I think that I just give a little too much emotional baggage with him in regards to my mother, so I've learned to step back with that. I have sought counseling, and like I said, she had said to it's a good time to bring up some boundaries, but the pain is still there. To see my mother not helping herself, not going to the doctor. She just wants to complain all the time to me, and I finally told her I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, the other aspect of this, Chandra, is like you've known her your entire life.
Yeah.
And my guess is that this is not new.
As far as the toxicity?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't allow me to get close to her. I didn't have a relationship with her growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She was always working.
So she doesn't let a lot of people get close to her, Chandra.
Yes.
And I think it's really hard when we want more for a person than they want for themselves.
Right.
And our standards are different than what their standards are for their life.
That's absolutely true.
In some way, she's choosing the life she wants. It doesn't really matter where she lives because she's not going to really engage with anyone.
Right.
Right.
And I'm thinking too, along that same line, Jill, is Chandra, this is your anxiety about the fact that mom doesn't want to do more for her. And that is actually going to be more, that's going to be more helpful for you to address than even creating boundaries, because your mom has said, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm going to do. And for her, it's not a problem unless she's complaining to you about something. Is she complaining to you about anything?
Oh, she complains about her health. Her knees hurt. Well, and I'm a woman of suggestions. Something's not right, you find something to do about it. But she knocks every idea down.
Right.
I ask her to go to the doctor.
So, Chandra, stop doing that. We're going to do the Bob Newhart stop it.
Yeah, right.
Therapy, okay? Stop doing that because she's not wanting your suggestions. She's proven that.
Right.
She's telling you because she needs to tell someone. And all you do, take the pressure off of yourself. It's not your job to fix your mom. She doesn't want to be fixed. So what you say is, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry that you're in pain. I hope you feel better. I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
And the other part about that too, Chandra, is that you may become closer with her as you drop the need to fix it, because you're going to decrease that anxiety that you're feeling.
Yeah.
And you can just be present with her and recognize you're not doing something wrong just because she's complaining about it. And I think that's where, when we talk about attachment styles, that's a pleaser through and through. Like, I will feel better if you are great, because if you're great, then I'm great, and I've done my job. And that is all part of your own healing. It's a big thing to take on taking care of your parents. I mean, it's a big thing. But being able to be present is knowing that I'm not going to fix this. That this is this last chapter of her. The fact that she was willing to move and to be in a place where she can be cared for and safe, that's really an amazing thing. But your connection with her, it can become adversarial as you continue to try and make her somebody that she's not. And to your point, Jill, she's okay.
Right. Well, and I think it's maybe where your dad came to with her. Just listen to her and reflect back to her where she's at. And now, if she says she wants to do something more, oh, that sounds like a great idea, Mom. But put the onus on her. Right? Let her drive whatever she does. I mean, she's fairly young, 75, 76. Right. That's not that old. So, again, stop suggesting and just reflect back, Mom. Wow, Mom, that would be hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to be in pain.
And I think some of that, it's like Chandra said, that mom blames you. So she wants to put the responsibility of her misery on you.
Yeah.
And that's where the boundaries come in.
Yes.
But that can be a verbal boundary, but oftentimes there's these hidden internal boundaries. And the internal boundary is that what you have to say to me just doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't take it to heart. Because
It's detachment.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and if she starts, kind of verbally attacking you, Mom, I think I'm going to call you back later when we can have a different conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, I've practiced that too. So, but you hit it on the nail. It's the anxiety. I'm up at night thinking about what I could do different or what I could say different. How can I get her to do this and that? But just letting it go.
Well,
Let her determine her life.
Yes.
She doesn't have dementia. She doesn't have something where she can't do these things. She's not wanting to.
Yeah.
Right.
And Chandra, I think of there's a person in my life that that my wife and I talk about that say this particular person is not happy unless they're miserable.
Yes, that's her.
It gives them something to fill the space, right? Otherwise, it'd be empty.
Yes, they've over-identified with misery.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to be happy unless they have something to complain about. That's who they are. That's how they show up in the world. And unfortunately, it's not a great way to show up in the world because a lot of people don't want to show up with you in that constant misery. I refer to it as a victim state. She's addicted to her victim state. And you're either going to rescue her, which is never going to work.
No.
Or you're going to be her persecutor, the person that gets the blame for everything.
So to shift your thought process, Chandra, so you're not anxious at night thinking about what am I doing wrong and you have to begin to focus on what you've done right. You have provided safety for her. Yeah. You do pay attention to her. You do address the needs that she needs to be met. But you're also going to back away with, she must do it this way because this is a better way for her. She may not be interested in that. And little by little, you'll be able to actually be present with her. We all have people in our life that are curmudgeonly. And I'm not saying that your mom is like that, but it kind of sounds like
she is.
and the detachment that I'm talking about is where you are secure in who you are and what you bring to the room. And you can love her in a way that you know that you've done the best you can and not try to manipulate her because the goal a lot of times when we're in a pleaser style is if we get a positive response, we have done our job. But detachment is when I know that what I'm bringing in here is love and care and I may be rejected and that's okay. Like it's just really complex, but I think that's going to be your work ahead of you.
Yes. Well, yes, that all makes so much sense and helps me feel much better and more like I have control just with myself.
Yeah.
Where my thoughts are going.
Yeah. Becky, what you're saying reminds me of a line that I've heard, but I like to use, and that is, I'm out of ideas on how you can fix your life.
Yeah.
I am writing that down right now.
I know.
I am out of ideas on how you can fix your life. It's really helpful as a reminder to us that, we can't live somebody else's life for them and we can't be happy for them. And Chandra, I just think for you, there is this common experience that we have, and we all have it to a greater or lesser degree. There is the parents that we need, and then there's the parents that we got. And those are two different people, right? And so sometimes we got to grieve the parent that we needed but never got.
Yeah.
So we can accept.
Great.
Well, and even in all of your caretaking of her, she's not really grateful.
No.
Right?
No, because I'm thinking, where would she be without Chandra?
I know.
In her
Everybody
life?
else has ditched her. So you are doing the right thing by being an honoring person to a mother that's not very honorable.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, Chandra. You are bringing honor to your mom. She raised an incredible woman in you. Despite her deficits, despite her attitude, whatever that might be, you are a result of her parenting. And
maybe Dad's
that's hope
too.
for all of us. That's hope for all of us.
Absolutely. So, Chandra, thank you so much for joining us today. You're such a joy and such a delight, and there is so
She's
much.
She's lucky to have you. She just doesn't know it.
Absolutely. Right. Yes. We should all have a Chandra in our life. And we're going to send you a copy of Jill's book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. And I think that this is just... it's actually a book for all of us, right? Because
even though some of the stories are kind of extreme, I think the concepts ring
are right.
true.
Yes,
for many of us.
I'm gonna save it for my own children, for when they grow up.
Maybe when they're older.
Yes, when they're older, and they'll need to read it and work through it. So, again, Chandra, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you all for being with us as well. If you need counseling and you don't know where to look no further than us. We can connect you with a Christian counselor in your area. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we'll connect you to one. We'll be right back.
I came kicking and screaming. The last 24 years have been filled with pain. I was violently molested and raped from the age of 6 to 13. It has changed everything in my life. This weekend for me has been life-altering. I have realized that God does love me, that this is my story, and that's okay for the first time in a long time.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. She came kicking and screaming and now has a changed life. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministry.
To make your tax-deductible gift, visit newlife.com and click Donate. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. That's NLM to 28950.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today, and I am so glad to be in studio with Jill.
Yes.
Dr. Jill Hubbard, licensed psychologist.
Yes, that's me.
and renowned author.
Well, maybe not renowned, but okay.
I like it. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Thanks.
and also renowned author and licensed professional counselor, Becky Brown. How you doing, Becky?
Hello. I'm doing good, Chris.
All right. We're still rolling along. Hey, there is this really cool way to connect with us. And if you're struggling with something and you want to ask us a question, you want to be on radio with us, but for whatever reason you can't call in, you can submit a question to us online at www.newlife.com/radio. And we have one of those that I would love to get to today. So are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
we have Gwendolyn. And Gwendolyn asks us this really, really important question that I think is very common. After going through a hurtful divorce, how does a person re-enter the world of dating in the Christian world? And really, how does she find safe people?
It's difficult.
I'm staring right at you, Jill.
I know. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
But not impossible.
Yes.
Right? And I think one of the things is after going through a painful experience, first of all, we need to have, we don't want to just jump into dating, right? Mm-hmm. Because we don't always make the best choices out of our pain.
Yes.
But we want to make sure that we have solid same-sex friends. So it's important to have, Gwendolyn sounds female, it's important to have your female friends around you and have that support, because anyone you bring in, you want to be able to have them, you know, see who you are with and to be able to have that feedback.
Yes.
So it's also important that when you've gone through a lot of hurt, that you do the work to process and grieve through that hurt, because otherwise we make these kind of secret vows to ourselves, like, I'm never going to go through that pain again. I'm never going to let somebody in that close that could hurt me, right? And so we set up these things, and we don't even always realize that we've set them up, but we're setting up those blockers to our pain.
So, Jill, in a sneaky but powerful way, our pain is still making the decisions.
Yes, absolutely. So you need people, you need therapy, you need places where you work out your pain, where you can cry out and you can go through a process and a time of that. And then when you are seeking...
I was thinking, Jill, what you just said, though, we need people, we need process, and we need, what was the third P? Because you said
remembered.
We need a plan.
Places.
That's it.
Yes, yes.
That's it.
Yes.
A plan, yeah. Yes, all of those things. And then I think it's helpful to get some advice from others who have maybe gone through it, because sometimes your friends that have been married since they were 18 don't, you know, their experiences from their teen years, right?
Yes.
They don't always get what it's like in the aftermath of traumatic experiences to then get back out there. So I don't want to discount them completely, because they are great supporters, but you also need a mix. You also need people.
Yeah.
And so this is where, like, divorce care, grief share, you know, places like that, where you have others. And then it's like, okay, what's my personality? How, you know, am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? Like, if you're an introvert, you're probably not going to go to a big party and start mingling, right? Like, how do I like to meet people? And one of the ways I think is good is like, okay, what do I want to do in my life with or without another person? Because your life doesn't end or start with your partner. Your life is continuous, whether you're in a bad marriage, whether you're in no marriage. Your life is continuous, and God is working in your life right where you're at. So let's continue our lives, and let's invest in things that we would want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
And so getting involved in maybe some activities, maybe it's serving somewhere, maybe it's something you always wanted to do, maybe it's an art class, right? Getting involved in different things that bring you into some community at your comfort level, right? But get you around other people with repeated exposure.
Oh, I love that.
I think you're going to make the list that all starts with P, because you said that, plan and people,
well, then repeat,
and pursuing and all of the things.
Yes, that's true.
But that key thing, though, that what you both have said about don't let the pain make your choices. That's another P.
Yes.
But I think about having relationships actually helps you to define who you are, so that then when you are in a romantic relationship, you don't lose yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where the challenge is. It's like all of a sudden, I don't know what kind of eggs I want, you know, to cue up an old movie. You guys remember that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So really,
Runaway
and I
Bride.
think one of the compliments that Steve gave me, one of the rare compliments that Steve gave me, and I didn't even know he was talking about me. He said that he only knows one person that doesn't care whether they're married or not. And I'm like, really, who? And he said, you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, that means I've come a really long way.
Yes.
And I think being okay in your life and you know, developing yourself and your level of happiness then opens you up to others coming along.
I think that is so powerful, Jill. It reminds me of the title of a song, an artist named Colin Hay, who was the lead singer of Men at Work. That's going to totally date me, but whatever. And the title of the song is Waiting for Your Real Life to Begin. Yes. And what you're saying is like,
don't wait.
A partner is, you can't wait for your real life to begin. When?
Yes.
When? You build your real life right now, and you invest in your real life right now. And I think eventually you look who's alongside of you. So, all right. Thank you so much for that, Jill. We'll be right back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all, yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Everyman's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Everyman's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us today. And one of the fun things that we like to do is a flashback call.
Yes, love them.
So we are going to go to a flashback call with Steve and John. So Terry, cue that up for us.
All right, let's go to Cassandra. Hi, Cassandra.
Hi.
How can we help you today?
I have a problem with being late, and I heard, and there's possibly something that could be connected to that. I heard you talk a show, a lady about a show on being a pack rat, and you said you don't call it that, you call it pack rodentia.
Yes, pack rodentia.
And I heard you speak before about clutter. And with that one of the best things that helped one of you guys was having the internet, so you can get rid of some of the papers and old stuff because you can get new information. And that's been helpful to a point, but I guess now it's how do I reset my panic buttons to be on time? Because I'll know what I'm supposed to do. I'll plan the time I'm supposed to go, and then when all the stuff around me, I get involved in things, and then when I'm supposed to be there, then I'll panic.
Yeah,
and it's too late to be on time.
Well, I'll tell you how to fix that, but you won't even, it won't even faze you. You know, I'll tell you the fix, but if you're compulsively late, I don't think you'll be able to do it. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not being mean. It's been my experience. But let's say that you needed to be someplace in an hour. Okay?
Okay.
Well, you tell yourself, if I think I need to be there in an hour, I actually need an hour and a half. So every time you say, okay, I need to leave here at 10:30, you say, okay, now if I think I need to leave here at 10:30, I actually need to leave here at 10.
Okay.
So every time you say, you make a time judgment, you add 30 minutes to that time judgment.
Okay.
And it becomes a habit where you say, and you think, okay, well, I got to leave the house here at 11. No, I have to leave the house at 10:30. Right. then that gives you the margin that you have eliminated from your life. See, now you get to do all those distraction things. You get to go take care of that child or that bill or whatever it was that became urgent. You've got 30 extra minutes to do all that stuff. Now you'll be on time. It is almost...
You're right. It probably won't work.
It's almost impossible.
But Steve makes a good point that there is a structure to this. Let me tell you what I think's going on, Cassandra.
Okay.
People who are both pack rats and always late people, you have both of those issues, most of the time they are terrified of losing. I don't mean losing competition. I mean loss. Losing opportunities, losing memories, losing the past, losing things they want to do that they're interested in. How are you with loss? Do you handle it well? Do you avoid it?
I guess I would avoid it. I guess I need an example. I mean,
you're looking in your house and you got all this clutter, and you say, somebody says, "Gosh, throw away those 18 strawberry baskets," and you go, "Well, I might need those someday. You know, I might use them for a craft for my grandchildren."
Right. I've had that more, and I have let go of some of it over the years, but it's kind of still there.
Right. That tends to be an issue with loss. Rather than I can clean house and I'll give somebody accountability over my house and tell them, you know, take a week and you have permission except for my purse to take away everything, and I'm going to get a towel and bite it because I'm so afraid that my life is going to go away if I lose these things. You accept the loss. And then that also plays in with whatever I'm doing right now, and then I hit the panic button because, you know, I'm going to be late to the thing. I'm afraid of losing the experience of where I am right now. I'm afraid of saying, if I say no, I'll never feel that again, or people are going to be upset with me or whatever. Right. And it helps. And one other little suggestion. If you want to deal with the lateness thing, go to the people that you're late to and say, from now on, I want you to tell me exactly how it feels when I walk in the door late. Before I sit down, I want you to tell me how it made you feel. Do you feel dismissed? Do you feel like I'm not important? Do you feel disappointed? Because if I face you and look at you eye to eye this time, it'll be so painful for me to see how I affected you. The next time I do that, it'll help me to disengage from where I am. Works like a charm.
And you say
it has helped over the years, and it kind of comes back up, and I don't know, how to tell when it's coming. It just happens, and it becomes a habit.
Yeah. Well, another question to ask those people is, do you think I'm arrogant and entitled? Because
I've had people say that.
Yeah, because a chronically late person, actually, there is a form of arrogance there that says the world should go by my schedule. I had an argument with someone about this, and they tried to convince me that the people that are on time are really the ones with the problem.
What was their argument?
Well, that they're so obsessed with time. They're so inflexible that the people that come in late are actually the ones that are living the life that should be lived. But it's the people that are on time. They ought to take a look at themselves, and why are they showing up on time?
I study successful business leaders.
Yeah.
They're always on time.
Always
They're
on
early.
time.
They're 15 minutes early for lunches.
That's true. All right. Well, I hope something we've said here has helped you. Look at your perfectionism. There's another thing. You want to delay being imperfect often. That's part of it. We'll send you, what would you like to send her, John?
How about a copy of Boundaries, Basic Boundaries?
I'll do it.
Such good wisdom from them, and the issue of timely. We think that these patterns and behaviors are pretty oftentimes innocent. At least I do for myself. But Jill, let's talk about this.
Okay.
I typically am an early guy.
Okay. Well, I think everybody knows I'm not.
Okay.
I'm typically a person that has struggled with time.
Yes.
Over the years. And it's been a difficult thing. It's been a painful thing. And I think people who aren't time challenged look at people who are, and they do draw those conclusions. They're arrogant. They don't care about anyone else.
They make it a character issue.
Right. And they make it something about them.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I'm not important. And it's none of those things, or it could be, a combination of things. Certainly, I liked some of the things that they talked about. There's also, I think, an element of being able to transition, right? So people can get over-focused. ADHD people often struggle. It's actually one of the number one symptoms of ADHD, and it's really not talked about that much with it, but time blindness. Because you get over-focused, and then it's hard to disengage, right, and switch gears. And there's also some brain elements that go along with it that I think are important, and that a lot of times we need to use behavioral plans and structures.
Joe, we've talked about this before, but even listening to her call, we're hearing a lot of anxiety disorder in what she's dealing with.
Yeah, that's what anxiety often goes hand in hand with it. And we forget the element of social anxiety, right? Yeah. To leave your house means you have to socially engage. For some people, that brings up a lot of anxiety. So it's like, oh, I have to do these tasks so that we put off entering into the world and the fear of how I will be accepted.
Well, and the pacrodentia part of it, we know for certain that when people struggle with hoarding or even hoarding tendencies, it is the anxiety about the decision, which goes back to what you were just talking about, Jill. When you are chronically late, the decision is 1,000 things. Where are my keys? Do I have this? Should I bring that? What am I wearing? Like, what way should I go? And then you have all of the other aspects of the anxiety that kicks in, that actually anxiety can keep us from moving forward.
Sure, it can be paralyzing.
So, yes, exactly. So I love that pacrodentia. I might be saying that about 12 more times.
Well, what's interesting about this is that what's underneath the surface, right?
Yes.
Because there's just like different personalities. Because I have ADHD.
Sure.
But
you're an early person.
But here's why. Anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? The same anxiousness. The same anxiousness that may cause someone to be late.
Yeah.
I am terrified of disappointing a person.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of missing out on something.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of making a mistake. Sometimes it's my perfectionism, not my overly sense of responsibility, that will drive that earliness.
And
so
the
I can
same
come
can be true, all those things you mentioned, for the late person.
Exactly.
Too. It's just manifesting differently.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So that's what we're here, is to figure out what's underneath all of these weird idiosyncrasies that we have. What's underneath Jill's lateness and my earliness, and what's really, really happening. And that's why we go to Becky.
Yes, because she's got it figured out.
Becky's going to help
That's
us.
why she's the president now, because she has it all figured
out. She can run this show. She can run my show. So, well, we're so glad that you're with us. We are going to head to a break, and we'll be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, we're so glad that you're with us today, and I'm just having a great time with Jill and Becky, and we have these great ways to partner with the people that want to be a part of this ministry that is really, really helping people in life's hardest and darkest places. And we bring hope and healing. And one of the ways in which we partner and which makes that possible is Club New Life. Becky, talk to us a little bit more about Club New Life.
I would be happy to. Club New Life is our monthly recurring donation program whose members say, you can count on me. All across the country and actually the world, we have people who give on a monthly basis to help support all that we do here at New Life. And, you know, your membership makes it possible for people to hear New Life Ministries, to access the counselor and coaching network. There's so many ways that you're helping move the ministry forward. And, you know, many of you have been listening for years and may need to join Club New Life. And you think, oh, I love New Life. I would hate for them to go away. Well, guess what? We would hate to go away too. And our Club New Life family makes that difference. And so you can sign up today. You can go to newlife.com/club CNL. Sorry, newlife.com/CNL. Or if you're watching on YouTube, we have a QR code that you can flash there. But just, you know, I just want to encourage you, if you've never been part of something bigger than yourself, Club New Life is a great thing for you to join today.
Thank you for that, Becky. And yes, and I love being a Club New Life member, and I believe you'll love it as well. As I mentioned earlier in the show, there's times and people who can't call in or write in when we're on the show, or call in when we're on the show, so that you can write in a question. And we have one from Dennis. And Dennis asked this question. He says, how can I get my daughter and her husband to be more empathetic and less critical? He has an 11-year-old granddaughter, and it's really her daughter's husband who he's really concerned about his harshness, and especially the harshness that he has towards his daughter and Dennis's granddaughter. So how does Dennis, as the father-in-law, help his
So to be more
son-in-law
empathetic towards the granddaughter.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, I wonder too, but it sounds like he is harsh, or the father is experiencing him being harsh to both the daughter and the granddaughter. Is that what you're asking, Chris?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and his
Okay.
primary concern is the granddaughter, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it would be easy to make his son-in-law bad, right? And it's like, oh, he's just too harsh. I think he needs to befriend him more. Lean into him. Let's go hang out, son-in-law. Let's go to lunch. Let's go do an activity, and start asking him a little bit more about his life. Like, I think the father-in-law should give his son-in-law empathy, the very thing he's wanting him to have. Because when people are harsh, either, they have that internal critic, or they're usually very harsh on themselves, right?
Yes.
Or it's the way they were parented, or they just have so much stress in their lives and it's leaking out onto the family. So I don't know maybe the origins of his harshness, but if we lean in and we, become a safe person for this son-in-law to perhaps confide in or to talk about things with, and also giving him some kind of timeouts and maybe times of fun recreation as well.
Yeah.
That then could help, in terms of what's leaking out. on the wife and daughter.
I think that's really good.
Right.
The other part I'm thinking too, I agree 100% with you, Jill, and I was thinking grab a cup of coffee once a week with them just to build that bridge, because I'm wondering where Dennis is hearing this. If it is just observation, if it is the daughter is calling and saying, "Dad, he's harsh and critical." There's lots of dynamics that can come into play, but without knowing all those details, Dennis, you will not lose by befriending your son-in-law, by praying for him, by praying for his family. It is very powerful for a father and son-in-law to have a connection. There's a respect of this is his family, but also to know you've raised your family and you know the pressures that he's feeling and he's experiencing. But depending on geographical distance, I mean, if he's across the country or if he's down the road, I mean, there's lots of things that, I have questions about. But just with the basic knowledge that you need to connect before you correct. Because
and it's
not
that,
your son.
It's that killing with kindness, right? Without completely love bombing, but kind of really caring about him as a person. That can do wonders for a guy, because a lot of guys haven't had that with their own dad, right? Don't know how to be intimate with other men. And so for Dennis to be the catalyst, he can change a lot of people's lives here. Yeah,
deep connection and healthy relationship is, we don't come out of the womb knowing how to do those things. Those are learned behaviors. And for many of us who didn't learn, we need to learn. And how are we if we're not in those relationships? So I love this suggestion of, like, Dennis, lean in.
Right, and don't give up. He might at first push away, right? Because he might be someone that's more avoidant. Because often avoidant people then lash out, right? So keep at it. Keep inviting into relationship.
And if that is the case, Jill, if he is pushing back, Dennis, then you have a conversation with your daughter, not pinning him as the bad guy, but just say, hey, I'm trying to reach out to, son-in-law. He seems resistant, and I'm just wondering, do you know something that maybe he has a problem with me, or, is there any way that I can reach out? And then also you're going to have that conversation of, is everything okay? Because I don't also want you to sit by quietly, because too many families do that. They observe things that are not okay, and they don't have those difficult questions. And so I would want you, Dennis, to lean in a little bit, not to criticize him, but just say, honey, sometimes I observe, that he might be a little bit critical. Do you see that? Or am I just, seeing something different? Just be curious, don't be accusatory. But if you don't allow a conversation like that, she'll continue to keep a secret if there is a problem within their family.
Well, and it really reminds me of that great proverb, Proverb 15:1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words stir up anger. Don't we get to that that trap in our marriages and our relationships, where we meet wrath with wrath and just stir up more anger? And to learn the skill of a gentle answer that connects people, that shows them I respect you, I love you, I care for you, and therefore we can have a safe place to address hard things. And I'm telling you, man, I know we experience this in our counseling offices, is that we need to address hard things, because that's just life and that's just relationship. Right. But in the way in which we're doing that with more anger and intensity just deteriorates the ability to do it. Rather than the simple, sneaky, and powerful wisdom that we find in God's Word. For instance, learning gentle answers. And gentle doesn't mean weak. It doesn't mean I'm a pushover. But it actually can be strength, because it's more grounded.
Listen, it takes more strength for me to keep my mouth shut than to,
Yeah.
to say something. I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
Yeah, and then lastly, I would just say come alongside the granddaughter.
Yeah.
Give her some time away from parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I love that.
We thank you so much for being with us today. We thank you for joining us. And again, I want to encourage you to join Club New Life as a way to partner with us, and we'll be with
Thanks
you
for
on the
listening.
show.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.